Good morning, everyone. It is Sunday, December 28th, 2025, and it's time for us to do a reading for 2026. I'm Dolly. This is the Wolf Girl Oracle, and I am glad that you guys are here. And thank you so much for this entire year. 2025 was a struggle for many of us, for many ways, mind, body, and spirit, economically, politically. It was a struggle. But we got through it, and we got through it together. We got through it because we lifted each other up, and we found the good in the world. We found what was positive, and we're going to continue to do that for 2026. And there are some crazy things in 2026 that we do have to, that are going to come to us, and there's really nothing we can do to stop it. You know, all 400 and what is it? 435? I think that's the number. All 435 House seats are up for renewal. There are 34 Senate seats that are going to be happening in the midterms this year. We've got gubernatorial races in like 39 states this year. So politically, it's going to be a challenge. You know, we're going to get bombarded with the ads. We're going to get lots of propaganda thrown at us from all directions, right? So we're going to have to navigate through that. There on March 3rd, there's a total lunar eclipse. On August 12th, I think it is, there's a full solar eclipse for most of North America. The FIFA World Cup series starts in June, and that usually goes about 40 days, 39 or 40 days, somewhere in there. So that's going to be a thing in our country because it's happening here in the United States this year. And I think a few games are up in Canada as well. So this is going to be a North American experience this year. We still got the Epstein files that we're dealing with, right? And the fallout from that. You know, so there are going to be challenges and hurdles that we're going to have to face this year. So let's go to Spirit and find out how, through the course of the seasons, elementally, how can we navigate through this next year? Okay, we don't have to think of it as a negative. We can think of it as a positive. So let's just go to Spirit and find out how we can do that. So let me get to the other camera here. All right, so in order for me to get everything in, I'm going to just use the full screen here for my medicine wheel, and for my spirit guides, for my cards. We're just going to take up the whole desk here. So you won't be able to see my gorgeous face, but that's okay. Nobody needs to see that. So we're going to be using the Inner Child Oracle by Amanda Lynn Asling today. And we're also going to be using the Animal Guides Tarot by Radley Valentine, okay, as our cards. And we're going to do this as a spring, summer, winter, fall reading, kind of break it up into quarters. And we're going to be doing 2 cards per quarter. So if you don't like long videos, okay, remember on your video screen, there's a little wheel that you can click to, and you can change the speed of the video. So if you want to crank me up so I sound like a chipmunk, go ahead and do that. You know, I still think it's important that we get through this reading. So I'll try to be as concise as possible, and I'll ask Spirit to be as clear as possible. So before we get started, I'm going to ask the angels to protect us. I'm going to ask the spirits of the land in my home to surround us. And I'm going to be asking the ancestors to give us wisdom. What do we need, Spirit, to get through this year? Please and thank you, and I love you. Okay, so let's get started. So we're going to do 2 cards per quarter. So I'm going to speed up the video here to get through this as I shuffle the cards and ask Spirit to give us some wisdom. All right, let's take a look at these cards. So we're going to start in the spring. We're going to start with the mountain, okay? Now the mountain is, a hurdle that we have to cross. But we're also starting with the eagle and the hawk and the rabbit. Okay. So the eagle helps us kind of see things from a higher perspective, as does the hawk. Okay. And the hawk is often a harbinger for, it's basically a messenger. The hawks are messengers. They help bring to you the wisdom that is needed for the current situation. And the rabbit symbolizes the fertility of spring, and also helps us kind of grow. It's sort of like the symbol of growth in our lives, growth in our environment, growth in just growth altogether. The newness of spring. Okay, renewal, abundance, that kind of thing. Okay, so we're starting off with the card. Let me make sure. Can you see this? Ooh, I wish I had better cameras. You guys, I apologize. I'll read it to you. It says, "You do not have to go it alone. Reach out for support in this time. You do not have to go it alone. Reach out for support in this time." And I feel like we're going into the new year, starting off in, the beginning of the year and working our way through into spring, um, with a lot of uncertainty. We don't know what 2026 is going to bring, other than the things that I mentioned that are obvious. It's also the 250th anniversary of our country, the founding of our country this year. So, I mean, there's a lot happening this year, and that can leave us feeling maybe a little uneasy about what's coming ahead. But we have to remember that we are not alone. And if one thing about 2025 that, taught us something, it was that together we thrive. Katie Moonchild likes to say that all the time. Together we thrive. And together we have thrived. We have held it together. We have supported each other. We are not alone. And the tarot card qualifier for this is the Nine of Fire, which is the gazelle. Okay, so here it is upright, just so that you can see the gazelle. All right. And the gazelle says, "You've worked hard and what you've created is impressive and worthy of protecting. Annoying challenges may pop up, but don't worry, you'll get through them just as you have in the past." Okay. But it was in the medicine position. Okay. And fire often is, as an element, is often an element for cleansing, an element for purification. It's definitely an element for change. And just looking at the Nine of Fire, basically, then traditionally, all right, the Nine of Fire is like the Nine of Wands. Okay. And traditionally, the Nine of Wands is a let the past go. Okay. Trust people. Finish what you're starting. Release the bonds of the past. That is what this is saying. So, maybe, Spirit is saying that in the spring, we're really going to have to do some self reflection about, how we are either contributing to the help or contributing to the problem of what 2026 could possibly be. All right. Understanding that we don't have to go it alone, and understanding that letting go of the past, that the future and the present are not the past. No matter how similar things sometimes can be, it's not the same thing. And a lot of our comparison that we do is what causes us to have a lot of suffering. So I feel like Spirit is saying we need to lay that down. That is our hurdle. Okay. That is the mountain we have to cross for spring. And I'm also feeling like, from Spirit, a call to a more grounded practice. All right. Prayer, meditation, a return to ritual. All right. Finding spiritual meaning in how we practice. I'm feeling Spirit saying we need to return to that. Communal practice is very, very powerful, whether it be here on YouTube as part of a group or maybe in person, getting involved in a spiritual community or even a religion. Okay. I'm not usually one to preach, hey, go find yourself a religion, go find yourself a church. But, maybe that community feeling is something that we are going to need to be able to unify again as a country. Okay. Um, just a common practice. So I'm feeling that deeply from spirit for spring. All right. So so that's spring. Okay. So now we're going to go to summer. All right. We're going to go to summer. And in summer, I am seeing spend time in nature. Let the beauty of nature refresh your soul. And I feel like this is going to be something that we really need during the summer, because during the summer, we're going to see a real ramp up of political ads and political mudslinging as midterms get closer and closer. Okay. And I feel like spirit is saying, yeah, sometimes you're going to definitely need to step away from that, get out into nature and just explore truth. Okay. Explore truth. There's nothing truer than the things that you're going to find in nature. There are no lies in nature. So I feel like to revitalize yourself, that's what you're going to need to do. Now let's see what the clarifier is. The clarifier is the King of Air, which is interesting because this is the air. Air is the element that we're focusing on for summer. Okay, we're going to focus on the air. And it says King of Air, intelligent, impartial, respected, unemotional. It says the humpback whale. At this time, it's very important that you communicate clearly, be objective and unemotional, and act as professionally as possible. If you need advice, seek out the most experienced expert you can find. Yes, yes, yes. See, I am really feeling a strong feeling of how important truth is going to be during the summer. Okay, truth. I've got my wolf here too in my spirit guide, my wolf spirit guide, and this also represents me. Okay, and it's with the wolf. The wolf is with the wolf, and wolves. One thing that they do very well is they build community. Okay, they have their pack. They have their pack, and as a unit, a pack is very strong. They hunt together, they raise their children together. They are truly a community. And I'm feeling a strong call from spirit, to spend time in nature, so that you can feel the truth in nature and also understand that right now is not a time to be reactionary. Um, again, we're going to get bombarded with ads so much over the summertime, and lots of there's going to be a lot of things thrown at us in an attempt to try to gain our favor as voters, right? And I feel like the truth is really going to be important. There's going to be a lot of people saying a lot of things that you might want to hear, and it's really important that you recognize when you're being given a load of crap. If you feel yourself getting really confused, questioning things, get out into nature, breathe, and allow spirit to bring the truth to you. Okay. I'm really feeling for the summer a very strong cultural and spiritual transformation. Okay. Um, I, I feel that this is going to happen as a result of a very negative mudslinging campaign. I feel like people are going to just say enough, enough from both sides of the aisle. And I feel like we are going to see a real transformation in the summertime. All right. And that's going to be the air. that carries the lies away and helps us soar into the truth. Okay. And then for fall, all right, I've got the bear with the bear. Okay. I got the bear with the bear. Water is our element. I have the turtle here, the very mindful, very thoughtful turtle, okay, in the fall as we go into midterm elections, as we start settling in towards the end of the year, and we're looking at things like the economy, when we're looking at things like crime, um, when all these things are really being brought into focus, okay, after we've spent some time meditating on the truth, all right, we're going to be brought into the fall. And the first card that we have is find your haven. There is a place of wonder just waiting for you, right? Find your haven, because it's going to get ramped up, you guys. At this point, it's just going to, every ad that you're going to see on TV, every ad that you see on YouTube, every ad that you see on Facebook and everywhere else is all going to be very politically motivated. And you're going to need to find your haven. You're going to need to pull yourself away from that. By this point, I feel like everyone is going to have their minds made up about who they're going to be voting for. Okay. And I feel like at this point, you can kind of pull yourself away, find some community, find some people who are on the same page as you so that you can just find a place to breathe, all right, where you can just rest and allow the rest of the year to just flow in as it's going to flow in. You can do volunteering, you can help your favorite political candidate if you would like, but just remember to take some time for yourself. All right, you're going to need it for what's to come. We also have the 8 of Fire, which is like the 8 of Wands. You've been presented with many wonderful opportunities all at once. While this may feel stressful, remember to be grateful for the blessings you have received. And I feel some strong emphasis on you've been presented with many wonderful opportunities all at once. This is our time. The fall is going to be our time for change. We have to make it happen. We have to do all we can to make it happen. But regardless of the outcome, we have to remember that we still have many, many things to be grateful for, many blessings that we are receiving. Thanksgiving falls in within this time frame, along with, well, Thanksgiving kind of is right over here. Well, this is Thanksgiving right here. But Thanksgiving will be happening in the fall, obviously. We have so many things to be grateful for. So find your haven, find your gratitude. Okay, both things are so important for the end of this year. And now into the winter. Okay, the winter, which I'm governing with fire. And this guy, my turkey vulture. So between the turkey vulture, the fire, and the stag, a lot of times on medicine wheels that are Native American, you're going to see a buffalo up here. I have a stag. And I have a stag because here in Wisconsin, we really don't have a whole heck of a lot of buffalo, but we do have the mighty stag. And there is nothing that says strength and endurance, wisdom through peace, where peace is the primary focus, than the stag. So let's see what our card is here. We've got, you can do hard things. You can do hard things. It is not as impossible as it may feel. And you've got, you've got the sailboat that is like sailing through the cosmos, right? And we also have the Two of Fire. Wow. We had almost 3 of the 4 cards were fire cards. Okay. Lots of transformation, lots of change, lots of enterprise and distinction here. Okay, Two of Fire, the Pelican. Your vision, creativity, and dedication to your cause have brought you great success. In fact, it may be your best interest to go get a partner to assist you in your endeavors to expand the number of people helping you. All right, so this feels really positive, doesn't it? Like the hard work has been done and we're so successful that we need to go and get help. In the regular in a regular tarot deck, the Two of Fire is the Two of Wands, and that's all about preparation, planning. It sometimes could be about observing and imaging and visualization. Okay, but we're being shown that once the hard work of the year has been done, we're going to have something to celebrate. And that's hopeful. That is positive. And that is what I think is going to happen intellectually towards the end of the year. Okay. I feel like so much that is evil and wrong and corrupt is collapsing in upon itself right now. And I feel like that's going to continue through the year. We're going to see that continue, right? I'm also feeling from spirit a real depth in our relationships. I'm feeling community. I'm feeling healing. I'm feeling belonging. And I feel like this will be, even though it's going to be a struggle through most of it, that the outcome is going to be very healing for the entire nation, not just for Democrats, not just for Republicans, but I feel a returning to peace, a returning to unity, a returning to community. And I feel like people are just going to find themselves doing things this year that maybe they would have never even thought about doing, meditation, prayer, grounding, transformation, especially cultural transformation, um, compassion over the need to be right, community. I'm feeling these things, you guys, for this year, for 2026. So this is a very positive reading. I'm very happy with this. Spirit, I hope that you're not just telling me what I want to hear. I don't think so. I think that this is because I asked specifically for it to be the truth, and this is what we're getting. So great, right? All right. So that was our reading for 2026. I love you guys. Now, Wednesday, I hope that you guys can come to my live stream, my New Year's Eve live stream. It's going to be at the same time, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. We can do day drinking. It's fine. I don't drink anyways. But, anyways, I'm going to be giving some things away. First of all, I'm going to be giving away what I call a digital coupon. It's going to be I'm going to give away 3 digital coupons to some of you lucky people out there who come and visit my live stream. And each one of those coupons is going to be good for a free personal reading from me. Okay. Which should be fun. It would be very interesting and fun. So, yeah, I'm going to be giving 3 of those away. I'm also going to be giving away some of these. This is my gratitude journal, 3 years of blessings, and it's by our dear friend Kelly Bach. So if you guys know Kelly from all of the, my live streams and Terry's live streams, Katie's live streams, all the live streams, Sonia's, I'm going to be giving away her 3-year gratitude journal, and it's really neat. Also, I'm going to be giving away a bookmark with each one of these that she also provided, which I think was fantabulous. And it's neat, where we're going to take some time this year as a group to write down what we're grateful for every single day. We're going to go into 2026 with, we're going to visualize gratitude, we're going to perform gratitude, and we are going to be grounded in gratitude. And we're going to turn all of the blessings that we currently are getting in our lives that we're grateful for into more blessings, more positivity, more healing. We're going to do this together. Okay. And I'm going to use this book, and I'm hoping that you guys will too. So we're going to be giving away books. I also got some extra bookmarks here that she gave me. She gave me a whole bunch of bookmarks, so we can give away a whole bunch of stuff on that day. So I'm hoping that you guys will come. It's Wednesday, and that is, what is the date on Wednesday? What is the date? Whatever the date is on Wednesday, it's New Year's Eve. Hello. It's the 31st. Duh. So please come. This really is blonde. Okay, please come to the live stream, hang out, and we'll have a lot of fun together. Maybe we'll try to do some more readings and give away prizes and just celebrate life and celebrate the fact that we made it through 2025 together. Okay, so please come. I love you guys. Mwah! You guys have a great day, and I will see you guys on Wednesday. All right, take care, everybody. All right, bye-bye.